Hi and welcome to this trip session at Cranfield University. I'm here today talking to Omobola Johnson about her research. So Omobola, can you just give us an outline of what your research entails?
I'm looking at Chief Executive Officer practices in emerging markets, really based around the fact that context affects how CEOs or leaders behave. And so my emerging market case study is really in Nigeria. So I'm looking at CEOs in Nigeria and what they do to be successful in Nigeria.
So what have been your findings about CEOs in Nigeria so far?
Well, quite interesting. Because Nigeria is it's got different kinds of CEOs. You've got multinationals and you've got national companies. And what I'm looking at are not only what CEOs do, but whether or not the fact that they're Nigerians or they're expatriates running multinationals or Nigerian companies affects how they do things and what they do, both internally and externally. And I guess some of the most interesting findings have come across now are the fact that the context of Nigeria, as in most emerging markets, is actually quite uncertain. Political uncertainty, infrastructure is not adequate, and all of those things. And what I've found is that Nigerian CEOs aren't really very bothered about that. They just literally get on with it. But the expatriate CEOs complain about the fact that it's very difficult to plan, given the uncertainty in the environment. But Nigerian CEOs, I guess because they're so used to operating in that kind of environment, they just see it as natural, and that's what they do. They just get on with it.
So if you could pick one thing in particular, what one thing do Nigerian CEOs perhaps need to operate more effectively?
I think it's really a sense of, if I call it innovation, a sense of doing things that are new, not things that have been imported from developed markets into Nigeria, but doing things that are actually new and relevant to the Nigerian market. That's really one of the most important things I would think Nigerian CEOs need to be able to do.
So finally, I mean, what's it mean for practitioners? What does it mean for companies that are perhaps setting up in Nigeria, or for people who have been moving into a role as CEO in Nigeria? What one thing would you say to them?
I think one thing I would tell them is not to rely too heavily on the Western-style leadership development program, so to speak. I think that there is some benefit in understanding how context affects what you do, and then marrying the Western-style leadership development with what is actually quite contextual and relevant to our own environment. So coping with all the uncertainty, understanding what innovation is, how to engage with nationals who have a very different view, the cultural aspects of managing an organization. Those are probably the 2 or 3 things that I would say.
Okay, thank you very much.